Okay, solve, and this time it does say just between 0 and 2 pi. So we won't have any of that n pi stuff going on. Normally, when you see something like this, you're probably going to think, or what I want you to think is, I need to get this, everything set equal to 0 and factor. Meaning, right, let's write it as secant x cosecant x minus 2 cosecant x equals 0. Right? Again, the reason we do that is so that we can factor it and set each factor equal to 0. Right? There's the cosecant is in common between both of them, so I'm going to say cosecant x times secant x minus 2 equals 0. And then what? Set them both equal to 0, right? So cosecant x equals 0, and secant x minus 2 equals 0. So secant x equals 2, which means which secant is 1 over which cosine. So then that tells you that cosine is half. Okay, and that's easy enough to find, right? Cosine is a half between 0 and 2 pi here and here. Okay. Okay. So the answer is pi over 3, 5 pi over 3. So that's this part. X equals pi over 3, 5 pi over 3. Okay, what about this part here? Cosecant of x equals 0. You know, actually, cosecant of x can never equal 0. I mean, remember, cosecant is 1 over the sine, right? So if I go to the calculator and I say, let me graph this and look at the graph. I've got to be in the right mode. I am in the right mode. Y equals, clear, 1 divided by the sine of x. And I'm not sure if what my graph is set at, but it's good enough for what we're doing. See, the cosecant of all those u's that you get when you divide, cosine is a wave going in between those two, right? But notice that it never crosses the x-axis. It can never equal 0, right? So actually, that part of this here, you have to say no solutions. And while most of the time, I would say in a problem like this, be very careful about dividing both sides by cosecant x, because you don't want to divide by something that could equal 0. If you recognize that fact, that it never equals 0, then actually there's no problem with dividing both sides by cosecant x. Cancel, cancel, and now we've got secant x equals 2, which is what we got in that one anyways. My guess, there was a few that divided by cosecant x. I don't know whether they realized cosecant of x would never equal 0, and that's why they did it. I bet not everybody did. I bet some of them just did it, no matter what. Remember, if you were doing the same thing with sine or cosine or tangent or cotangent, all of those could equal 0, so you would be wrong to do that. But for cosecant and secant, they never equal 0, so you would have been okay with that.